Good morning to all of you, my dear students. Hope you are all doing well. Today, today's lecture is going to be very much catchy and very much interesting because we are discussing the idea, the notion, the trajectory of liberalism, and we are looking at some of the core ideas which liberalism actually projects. So I am going to explain to all of you, and you are going to have a lot of interest, and maybe you have some queries, and you can ask me later on. So first thing, let me just talk about some of the core ideas of liberalism. Liberal perspective of politics is that individualism. So individualism, from here, individualism, the liberalism actually starts from the individualism, that we have to see that individual rights has to be protected, whether the right to life, right to liberty, and many other rights which the individual has in a democratic country, and that has to be safeguarded, that has to be preserved, and that has to be protected, because it is the concern of the liberalism that liberalism actually is interested, to protect the individual rights. And individual is the man, the central idea. Individualism, the foundation of liberalism, that the state should be welfare state, so that it could protect the rights of individuals, his political rights, economic rights, social rights, and many other rights. So it starts from the individual. So even the liberalism is concerned about, we have to respect the dignity of every individual, no matter he belongs to upper caste, he belongs to lower caste, or he belongs to any strata of the society. He must be respected as an individual. He must enjoy a dignified life. That is the main concern of liberalism. And the second point which I am going to talk about is the constitutionalism. The liberalism believes actually the constitutional norms. Liberalism believes that constitution is the main yardstick by which we are going to see everything. We are going to judge everything. Even the entire country can be run according to the constitution. And liberalism believes the constitution is the law of the land. It is the highest document. It is the highest document, in which the main covenants, main provisions, main principles are written, and therefore the country can be run according to these principles. And therefore the constitutional, when we talk about the liberal perspective, then definitely liberal perspective gives us understanding, comprehensive understanding, that we have to run our country, we have to run every institution according to the constitution. So it is a rule by the constitution. It is a rule by we have to rule according to the provisions of the constitution. We cannot be, because the democracies are based on democratic ideals, and those ideals are enshrined, those ideals are mentioned within the provisions within the constitution. And therefore the constitution is the main yardstick. It is the protector of the fundamental rights of the people, and it is the main document in which everything is written, and according to that constitution the entire country is run. So then another point is the rule of law. The rule of law means all are equal, in terms of law. The law can be equally applied to all. There shall be no discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, family, birth, descent, and so on and so forth. But if you have committed a crime, so you are going to be seen from the point of view of law. The law will take its course. So the rule of law is very important principle. So it is not going to discriminate anyone, whether you belong to you have the belonging to the upper you belong to the upper caste, upper strata of the society, or you belong to the lower castes. It doesn't matter. Law is applicable to all equally. And the second, another point which I am making here is the checks and balances. When we talk about the liberal perspective, when we are understanding politics from the prism and from the lenses of liberalism, then we have to also look at the very important point, that is the checks and balances. The liberalism is always creating some sort of checks and balances in our society, and you can see the separation of powers which was created in United States of America is a kind of example, of the checks and balances which is there. Then also this limited government. The liberalism is always interested to create a limited government. It is in favor of minimalist state, that state should not too much interfere in the rights of individuals. Rather than state should be the protector, guarantor of the individual rights. It should be the custodian of the individual rights, and therefore the state cannot be absolute, and therefore the liberalism is against the absolutism or autocracy or autocratic government. It is in favor of minimal government, or a government which is based on the welfare agendas. So the welfare government is the main concern of the liberal perspective of politics. And then there is rationality and consent. This is very important because the liberalism, they don't accept anything whatever is coming to them. They accept everything on the basis of reason, on the basis of rationality. They judge things. They don't have they don't have the prejudice before deciding anything. So whatever they are going to do, they are going to look at the things, look at everything, whatever they want to decide, whatever they want to discuss. So they want to have a lot of discourse, critical discourse on different issues, on multiple issues, and they want to understand everything on the basis of rationality. So there is no blindness, there is not blind understanding or blind followingness, blind following in terms of when we are discussing the issue of liberal perspective of politics. So they are going to accept anything by understanding it, by using the reason and rationality, and that's really, and critical discourse, critical debate and dialogue. After that, they are going to accept anything. So the rationality and consent is a very important idea of the liberal perspective of politics. Then, of course, the liberalism gives us kind of understanding, and it provides a chance, it paves a way forward for the people to that liberty, equality and fraternity must be ensured for everyone without any discrimination. Then right to dissent. This is very important right in a democratic country, in a liberal democracies, that right to dissent is allowed. There can be multiple opinions. After discussion, a lot of discussion, a lot of discourse, then the truth can come out, because the dialogue, discussion, deliberation, and having different opinions on about any issue. So that is important, right to dissent. For example, I can give you the example that, for example, if person A has a one opinion and person B has a different opinion, so that is what the liberalism likes. So liberalism likes the different opinions, argument, then counter argument, so you can express yourself freely. So that is what is the main important point of the liberal philosophy, the right to dissent. That if something you find that is contradictory or that is not good, you have the right to express yourself regarding that matter. And there can be also difference of opinions. That is always the beauty of all democracies, beauty of the liberal philosophy. Then also the free marketing or laissez-faire economy. For example, free marketing is a very basic agenda. It is, we can say, the bottom line when we want to understand the liberal philosophy. In this philosophy, what we want to understand actually, that all people have this right, this equal right, or the equal opportunity, or the equal entitlement to establish their businesses, whether those businesses are mini businesses or the big businesses. So they can have, go for the livelihood. So livelihood is also the very important right when we talk about the liberal perspective of politics. That means people can do any kind of business, but that business has to be a legal business, but they have this right to look after their livelihood, and for that matter they have to engage themselves in some sort of business. So therefore the free marketing is allowed. When you talk about the liberal philosophy, then definitely liberalism actually emphasizes upon free marketing, open market, that it should be open for everyone. Everybody can do as business, whether it is a big business or mini business, and so that should be the right of every individual. Then also, equal opportunities. Equal opportunities is very important. When we talk about the liberal philosophy, let me just tell you that it is very important that all the liberalism gives a kind of equal opportunity to all people without discrimination of caste, religion, place of birth, and any belief. So it promotes equality and equity among the people, and it creates kind of sort of egalitarianism, that all people are equally important when we talk about the liberal values. And therefore I think these are some of the very important ideas when we want to understand politics, from the prism of from the prism of liberalism. So therefore we can say we have to keep in mind these all important principles when we want to understand the liberal perspective of politics. I think these are the core ideas related to the liberal perspective of politics for my students, and for anybody who wants to understand the liberal perspective of politics. Thank you so much for hearing my lecture. See you next time in my next lecture with another theme, and you are going to get a lot of understanding about the political issues, contemporary issues, emerging issues. And thank you so much again. Take care of yourself.